Hi, and welcome back to Bedecked. I'm Rebecca and Brian, but you can call me Beck. So today and next week, we have 2 featured author episodes here on Bedecked. I attended the Career Author Summit in Franklin, Tennessee last weekend, and I got to talk to these 2 people, and I feel like these 2 individuals really embody their brand. Those are the kind of interviews I wanted to have with people so we could learn what it takes to really nail the branding thing for your author brand. So, the first interview I have for you is with my new friend, Alicia McCalla. I was in a mastermind for writers with Alicia last summer during the pandemic in 2020. Anyone who comes into contact with Alicia, I would imagine, cannot help but be inspired by her. I know she's an inspiration to me. I'm sure she's an inspiration to others as well. Alicia is wise and incredibly positive and incredibly resilient. She's gone through a lot, more than a lot of us could handle, especially lately. But in spite of it all, with the support system, she is still positive and resilient and powerful and friendly and inspiring. So I'm not going to tell you what Alicia's brand is. You're going to have to watch the interview to find out, but I know you're going to enjoy this one. So let's get to it. Here is Alicia McCalla. So I am here today. I'm very excited to have Alicia McCalla in my hotel room. She spoke earlier today on branding, and we are going to talk more about that here.
Okay.
So first of all, Alicia writes about kick-ass Black women.
Superheroes, right?
Yeah, Black women superheroes. So that is the gist of her brand. So first of all, let's start with a general question. What does branding mean to you in a general sense?
So in the very beginning, branding didn't mean much to me except for the color scheme. So you could have like a certain color for your website, and then you would have similar looking covers, and then you might have a certain logo and a special tagline. It was all, though, kind of mysterious and convoluted. And now brand means to me the emotional connection that you make with your readers over time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what brand really means to me now.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you mentioned earlier you started out as a romance author.
Yes.
But now you have found something that really resonates with you. It sounds like being a superhero author is really what you were always meant to be.
Yeah, so I think I got a little broader with it because I like any story with a kick-ass heroine. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of times as authors, we read different types of books. And so I found, what was the connector between the books that I was reading? It didn't matter if it was urban fantasy, it could be superhero, it could be dark fantasy, any of those, but it was a certain type of heroine that I like to read. And I realized that also that I like to write. So I feel as if when I was doing the romances, they would always turn into something else. Like I started a paranormal romance that turned into African elementals, that turned into, there was a serial killer hunting down this, like a supernatural serial killer hunting down this woman. And it really wasn't about the romance. It was really about her trying to save her daughter. Mm-hmm. So it's a very different thing. So everything that I did just started morphing to these other things. And that is a valuable lesson for me to learn. And now that I'm intentional with my brand, it's much more helpful to me.
Mm-hmm. It seems like when you found something that's authentic to you, the branding comes more naturally.
It does.
Yeah.
I think that I did the presentation on the brand position statement because I think it was, I wouldn't say less about the brand, But for me, I got empowered, or I came to the understanding when I took a position with my brand. And so if you're just only thinking of your brand as a color scheme or as similar covers and not as a position that you take as an author that's authentic in your connection and your voice, well, that's when you kind of run into problems.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you have a lot of fun with cosplay and with dressing up as superheroes. I know you did a birthday post last year where you had fairy wings and a tiara and everything. How do you, when you get ready for events or when you post on social media, how do you think about what you wear? Like, do you have a process for that?
I do. So, like the fairies, for example, initially that didn't necessarily fit with my brand. And so it was kind of right before I got deeper into brand. And what I realized is I can do a fairy because I love fairies, but she has to be a kick-ass fairy, right?
Kick-ass fairy, yes, totally.
Or whatever the character happens to be. So I kind of go with my moods and my feels. If I feel like doing a certain kind of character and I just want to get into that character, then I'll go for it. So I think it just really depends. I really wanted to do fairies. And sometimes I connect them with my merchandising. Like I did my last Vampire Huntress character. And so I had merch that was coming out with that. So I feel like the cosplay kind of goes by my emotions, but my emotions are connected to my 3 emotions with my brand. And so I'm always then being authentic for whatever it is that I'm working out with that.
Okay. And for this audience, what are the 3 emotions with your brand?
Courage, bravery, strength.
Yep. So everything connects back to that.
Yes.
So how did you get into the merchandising thing?
Well, we were talking about in my presentation, I was looking for ways to expand or make money with my website or with my author brand. And I had been doing the writing, but I hadn't been making the money with it. And so merchandising came about as, if I add a storefront to my website, then I can bring in extra residual monies in that way. And so that's how the merchandising came into be. And I was really excited about merchandising. I like it. I love it. I love my products. And people who get them, they're like, people were tagging me on Instagram, like in their superhero posts with my shirt, which is kind of cool.
That must be so cool.
Or my tote bags with the last Vampire Huntress. And like I have fun with the product descriptions. And you can reel me back if you're not interested in this type of thing. But
no, bring it on.
With the product descriptions, I like to have fun, especially the last Vampire Huntress. I was like, this tote bag will be great for your steaks.
I love it. That's awesome.
Right? So with the Afro Puff Superhero, I haven't decided yet, but I was struggling with her because I wanted to write a serialized story for her, and I wanted that originally to be the product descriptions. But then I got so good into the serialized story, I was like, is this a product description? But in answer, I also use my product descriptions as a way for me to do my writing. And so I like to share different concepts through the product descriptions, similar to what I would do if I was, doing my serialized story or any kind of short story that I was working on. So it's fun that way. And I always think of like unique ways. And so when I have a product, I try to purchase a sample copy so I can say, you know what, sis, you need to like get a larger size because this one is a little snug or something.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So I try to talk to my customers in my product descriptions so that people kind of get the feel that it's not just me putting merch out there, but that I'm wearing the merch, that I carefully selected it and chose it, and I decided to share it in this unique way with that person so they can also feel some of the same things that I feel with the merchandise.
So you do wear your own merchandise. So where do you wear where do you wear your merchandise? Have people like come up to you on the street or at like conferences and be like, where can I get that?
Yes. So I know this might sound a little bit weird, but when I went to go get my COVID shot, to get the Pfizer shot, when I went to the health department, I had on my Afro Puff superhero mask. I had on an Afro Puff superhero t-shirt, and and it says like power in the puffs. Mm-hmm. And so the guys, when they came up, they're asking me these questions. It was like, well, have you had COVID in this? Have you done this? And then the guy was like, when's the last time you had your power in the puffs? that right there. I was like, I got it right here. Here's my power in the puffs.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people ask me, is it a school event or is there something going on? Like, are you marketing something? And I was like, you go to my website and buy these. So yes, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Do you think merchandising would work for anyone, or do you think it takes a certain type to, like a certain genre, a certain type of author to use that?
I think merchandising can work with anyone if they choose to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, we're kind of talking about, because I know you were talking about romance writing. Mm-hmm. So if you were a romance writer, maybe you might want to do love. Maybe you might want to figure out your way that you would do this. I find that with merch, you need to honestly think about who your target audience is, what that niche is, and bring them. So you have we all have our avatars. We all have our customers. So what are they looking to get? And so that's what you're providing for them.
And that leads into my next question. How do you find that? How do you attract the right people and maybe repel the wrong people? Like how do you do that?
So sometimes it feels hard to repel the wrong people because you'll send out a blog post or you'll do something and then you'll get these unsubscribes like, what did I say? But then I realize those are not my people anyway. And on the flip side, you might do something on social media or blog post, same thing. And then you'll get like this slew, like 5 or 6 people for the day, and you're like, what did I say, right? Because people get attracted to that. Mm-hmm. But I find that there are some people that stay with me all the time as far as asking with the merch, right? And there are some people who have loved me for quite some time. And so I studied them. And I looked at, well, what were the things were they clicking on that they like? What were they interested in? Mm-hmm. And invariably, some of them bought from my website. They bought my merch because I was providing them with that look and feel of what they were comfortable with, what they wanted to see. So I feel like social media is a great place to connect with your audience, connect with your the readers of what they might like. You can ask them. You know, sometimes when I post a t-shirt or I post I'm working on this, I'm working on that, and people are like, oh yeah, I love it. I want to get that for blah, blah, blah. I want to get that for myself. You know, it works. It does really. It's helpful. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that is all I have. We'll keep it short and sweet so we can get down and go drink some stuff. Do you have any closing thoughts or knowledge about branding or what to wear or merchandise or anything for the viewers?
Closing thoughts? I can't think of anything. I just tell people to be authentic. You know, make your connections, dig deep into yourself. I am thinking, I told you before, the Speculative Fiction Academy just started up. And so I'm working with them to do a brand position statement class.
Oh, that's cool.
So nice. I think people might want to do something like that.
Cool. Well, we will put all your links in the description so people know where to find you. So look down there for where you can find Alicia McCalla and her kick-ass Black women superheroes. Thank you so much for joining me.
Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Alicia McCalla. How could you not, right? I think you can see what I mean when I say Alicia is her brand. She is a fierce Black warrior woman for sure. That's it for this week's episode. Next week, I will have that minimalism expert that I was talking about in my minimalism episode. So we will hear more about that and how minimalism also relates to his brand. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.